10 things, 10 trauma beliefs I was wrong about. 1. My family doesn't hate me. It takes 2 to fall apart. I used to think that my family hated me. I used to think that my family actually was always trying to disown me and that they were just tolerating my existence. And part of that was just massive anxiety and the fact that I didn't see my family a lot growing up. So when I did, I felt kind of alienated. Yeah, I also felt like my emotions were too big for them. I felt like I was being dramatic, like overly dramatic. And a part of that is because I didn't communicate the underlying actions and experiences behind those emotions. So I didn't say, hey, I have PTSD, or hey, I'm struggling with depression, or hey, I feel like you don't love me when you say this. I just said, my feelings are hurt and I'm anxious and I don't want to be around a bunch of people and making friends is scary and I feel like I'm suffocating in crowds and I can't sleep and I'm scared of the dark, and when I get into relationships, if they treat me bad, I really don't care. So it just made it seem like I was being dramatic and woe is me when I was really just healing through trauma and getting over a lot of things that I probably should have gone to therapy for, but I worked through nonetheless. Okay. 2. I am beautiful even if I'm not perfect. It is my authenticity that makes me shine. I was a big overachiever. Like, I focused a lot on my grades and on my status and on my career. And a part of that is because I felt like my family paid more attention when I was doing well in school and with things. And it was hard for me to switch topics to my feelings because I didn't know how to talk about them. So over time, it made me feel like if I wasn't perfect outwardly, then I wasn't valuable. And it took time to kind of rewire that to make me realize that my perfection comes from who I am. And because of who I am, I can achieve things. And it's not that I achieve things and that makes me perfect. It's that I am myself and that makes me perfect inherently. And that we're all perfect because of that, but we're perfect because we are ourselves. And what's on the outside isn't meant to be perfect. It's meant to be human. 3. Just because it's how I survived doesn't mean it's how I have to live now. Oh my gosh, that's a big one. That's a big one. Whew. That ties into relationships. That ties into people-pleasing tendencies. That ties into so many things. It's just like the way that I survived through traumatic relationships, how docile and submissive I can be, how quick to cut people off I can be, how quick to isolate myself I can be, how headstrong I can be. A lot of that and a lot of the things that I do sometimes that pushes people away can be survival tactics, and I work a lot on now kind of not doing those things. So not keeping myself to myself and learning how to share myself more often instead of being afraid of that. That's a big one. That applies to a lot of things. That also applies to, and not to get too deep, that also applies to intimacy. When I am intimate with my partners, I used to be so filled with fear. Even when I wasn't outwardly, even if I was enjoying myself, my body was tense. And it really took learning how to relax and being reminded to relax by trustworthy people and I'm still working on it to learn how to enjoy intimacy past just enjoying it but being tense. Because you can enjoy a hot shower but be burned by the water, and I'm learning how to enjoy hot showers without being hurt through it, learning how to really work through those things and release the tension within. Okay. Number 4. Stop thinking because I learned so much that I know it all. Other people process trauma differently, and that shouldn't scare me. Yeah, I can be kind of a know-it-all sometimes. Yeah. Still working on that now. But I realize that everyone's experience is different, but sometimes because other experiences are different, I get scared that I am crazy and that I haven't learned anything at all. So when I learn something about trauma or about my experience, I'm so quick to be like, this is the knowledge that I've gained. Like how this channel kind of like, this is the knowledge I've gained. Take this knowledge and grow, instead of being like, okay, well, you may grow in a different way. And I think a part of that also is I have Taurus, right? No, I'm Taurus rising and Taurus moon. You'll hear me say different things, but for the most part, I have 2 Tauruses and 1 Gemini placement in my my major 3. Okay. But I won't tell you my birthday. Okay, 5. My dream family and connections exist, but they are what I really want. Sorry. My dream family and connections exist, but are they what I really want or just what I imagine? Sometimes we don't know what we want or need until it shows up, and we limit ourselves by rejecting anything but perfection. That's a good one too. That's a big one. So I used to be like my family, like I said earlier, my family doesn't want me. I don't feel connected to my family. And so I'm just going to not focus on that, and I'll just make my own family. And now I'm like, well, my family and I may not be perfect, but just because it's not perfect doesn't mean I should run away and create my own family, because the more I've gotten to know them and the more I've opened myself up to learning my family and reconnecting with them and rebuilding relationships, the more I realize that just because it's what I wanted doesn't mean that disconnecting from my family is what I needed. What I needed was to learn more of my family and be more open to them. And I still want to build my own family and do things differently in some ways, but that doesn't mean that, okay, the things that I wanted that would have been easier for me aren't always the best for me. And this is also like and I'm talking about trauma things that I was wrong about. I was wrong about always needing to cut out people who make me upset or who I feel like don't like me. Just because I have conflict with someone doesn't mean I need to cut them out. Sometimes it's better to rebuild the relationships and keep trying at them, because that's a part of human relationships. And I was wrong to think that my perfect family has to be something I create, or that they have to happen a certain way, because family isn't always as neat and perfect. And yeah, I was just wrong to try to cut out my family because of how I felt about them and how I thought they felt about me. And the same with people. But also, some people need to get cut out. But yeah, I was wrong about that. Okay. Number 6. My job is to be me. If I am myself and I follow God, nothing can go wrong and everything is always right. So that's not a belief I was wrong about, but I say that to say that that's something I realized. That, and I talk about that too, that all I can do is be myself. All I can do is be myself and be better at being myself. And as long as I am continuously doing that, then I cannot find regret in any of my decisions. And I live a life. And one of my big, like, not mottos, but like one of my big foundational, like, blueprints of my life is that I would not take anything back. I wouldn't change a single thing about anything I've done or said, because to say that I would change something is to say that I would change myself. And I love myself, and I love the journey that I am taking to become myself, and I respect that. And because I respect that and I respect and value my life, I don't want to have changed things, because I believe that where I am is where I'm meant to be. Yeah, they're changing things. Wanting to change things and regretting things wouldn't change where I am. All I can do is continue to move forward, and that's a big part of my life, like a big mantra I could say that I go by, but not motto, but mantra. Okay. 7. Trust divine timing and stop trying to speed up or slow things down. Oh my goodness, is this a big thing? I used to be so big on like my life always needs to be moving forward, like what's next. And trusting divine timing is so much about like learning when to be patient, and learning that when God, when spirit, when the universe says that it's time to be still, and when the universe says it's time to move, because I'm in control of myself, but I am not in control of my life, if that makes sense. I'm in control of what I can do and how I respond and not react. But I'm not in control of whether my dog wakes up tomorrow and, excuse my language, but like if he wakes up tomorrow and shits out blood, like I'm not in control of my life, like how things turn out. I'm only in control of how I respond to things. So, trusting that divine, and that ties into what I just said, but trusting divine timing, trusting that things happen as they are meant to, when they are meant to, and learning to go with the flow, and also learning how to take control of that, and not be like a victim to it, but not also be like, so I need to get things done that I miss out on living life, or that I live life recklessly. Okay, 8. Love and stop running from love. Okay, love. So that sounds explanatory. Love and stop running from it. I feel like I don't need to add too much more to that. Not being afraid of love, not being afraid of intimacy, not being afraid to connect with people. If I get hurt, I get hurt. But and there's ways to avoid getting hurt. But I would rather love and get hurt than never love at all. And it took a lot to get there. And sometimes I struggle and I'm still like, I'd rather be alone than be in pain, but I'm willing to go through it. I think I still have some time before I'm like, I give up, because even when I give up on love, I can't help but to fall in love again. And it's always at that moment when I'm like ready to give up on love that God sends me someone to love, and I'm like, oh, I was ready to give up and now I'm in love again. Okay, 9. You can be your biggest hater, and that is often the biggest obstacle. I have, I forgot what it's like, track people and bikers, they call it the same thing, but like my oppressor in the back of my mind who's like, give up, like the voice that tells me to stop running when I'm tired, they're my biggest obstacle. I can definitely be my biggest critic, my biggest hater, and that is my biggest obstacle. And I try to make sure that I am my biggest obstacle, because I wouldn't want other people to be, because then they're controlling my life. So as long as I'm my biggest obstacle, I know that I am on the right path. Odd enough as it sounds, because the only thing I want to do is be better. I want to be better than myself. And if I can be better than myself, I'm doing great. And the only way to be better than myself is to get past the voices in my head that keep me from doing what I'm meant to do. Hashtag intuition, hashtag God, hashtag listen to the voice of God, hashtag, like, yeah. All right, and that can go, I'll say one more thing. That can go so deep, because sometimes in me being my obstacle, it's me keeping myself away from my intuition, which is keeping myself away from spirit. Okay. And 10. If they don't pay your bills, don't pay them attention. You decide your fate, not anyone else. Yeah, that's what I was saying. People deserve the time of day, but no one deserves the time of day more than I do. and same with you. Like no one should come above you, except for your kids. But even then, because you have to be an example to them, no one should come above you. And I'll say this one more thing. If I put myself above my kids, that also means, like, okay, if we were in a plane and the plane was crashing, right? And it's such an extreme example, but if we were in a plane and the plane is crashing, I know that if the plane is crashing, I need to protect my kids first, right? I put myself above my kids. So My purpose, once I have kids, is to make sure that my legacies are okay, that they're safe, that they're well cared for, that I prepare them, that I give them all the knowledge that they need. And because I know that that's my purpose and that comes above everything else, I protect my legacies above my physical vessel, because my spiritual purpose is them. See how no matter what, it makes sense? But I come first. I come above all. I come above everything. And sometimes that means that in doing my purpose, I have to do something for someone else above doing something for myself. I come first. I come above all. Because I come first and I come above all, I make sure that my dog is cared for, because he's my responsibility, because he came to me in this lifetime. And because I respect my calling, I do that. I walk him when I want to go to sleep, because I come first. Because me going out and walking is also good for me, because I come first. I come before. The future me and my purpose comes before my physical vessel. And if someone is trying to take that away from me and they don't contribute to that purpose, then I don't mind them. That has to also do with me healing people-pleasing tendencies. But that's the last thing. I come first. Okay, so that was 10 things, 10 trauma beliefs that I was wrong about, and some trauma beliefs that I have, some beliefs that I have acquired because of my trauma that was a result of me healing trauma beliefs. So I hope that you guys liked this video. If you did and you want some more content like this, like and comment down below. If you see me wearing this shirt in another video that was posted right next to this one, it's because I recorded it on the same day, and you might, maybe, also relate to that, because I was on the same wavelength. See, I'm on the same wavelength. Alright, like, comment down below, subscribe. Peace, love, happiness. Bye.